ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. I'm so excited to be with you here on the Broadway Podcast Network, or if you're watching us on Broadway World or on social media, it's so great to be here where artists talk about art. We love the Tribeca Film Festival. We love being one of the people who get to cover the red carpets and hear about all the new exciting films. And then those films go on to have releases. And there's a release of this next film. Y'all, we all have grief. We all have been through it. And we all can love and appreciate other people's journeys because their journeys help us understand our journeys. And Robert Schwartzman, director, writes, he plays, he does documentaries, he acts, he does everything. He makes us all feel lazy. Robert, welcome to the show.
Oh God, thank you.
Lazy.
I love that intro. Robert, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Robert Schwartzman. I know you. I mean, I don't know you personally, but I know you because I know this band.
Yeah. You like that band? Oh, hi.
Sorry.
That's okay. This is Mia, everybody. I stole her
Mia?
office. I stole Mia's office, everybody. So
Thanks for being.
She's letting me take over her room.
Mia, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the. So, how do you go from a musician and a platinum band that tours around the world to writing and directing feature films that go to Tribeca and are about to be released?
I don't know. I mean, I think, I don't really, good or bad, kind of wait too long to overthink things and like try to come up with the perfect scenario for this, that, and the other. I think I just get really into chasing things that make me excited or make me happy, or if I get a spark of an idea that feels very, really calls to my interests creatively or on a business level, I just am one to kind of like really jump in and go for it and see what I can kind of create. So I was doing music for a long time with Rooney, which you put up the first album poster. That's what a lot of people love, that first album. But when I was doing music, it's funny because like before I wrote any music, I was trying to make movies, like as a young like high school guy. And then I went away to film school, studied editing, I learned how to shoot on like an 8mm film camera, which was kind of fun. I learned how to cut on like linear tape to tape editing machines. And just kind of like, I learned by doing. I'm like a better learner by action. So, for me, if, music took me away, like I got swept up into music for a long time. I loved it. Music was good to me as far as like, people liked the music I made. If people want to come see you play live, it's an amazing thing to like put on a show and people show up to see it and sing along with you. And it's not something, it's a lot of people tour, but I feel very grateful that people really liked my music enough to like care about it. But, after time went on, I was like, okay, maybe I want to take a moment from music and I want to start, like, I want to write a film or see what it'd be like to actually put an independent movie together. So that's really what happened. I just kind of pushed pause on my Rooney life, my rock and roll touring life, and wanted the next challenge, which was like, let me go make a movie. And this was a movie called Dreamland. It was 2015 where I started my filmmaking life. And that movie got in Tribeca. So it kind of leads me back to 2023 last year with The Good Half at Tribeca, which has been like a nice foundation for me as a filmmaker. But I just try not to overthink it too much. Just try to let the excitement take me where I'm going to go. And, it's like, I don't know what the outcome of anything's going to be. I try not to let that motivate what I'm making. I'd rather the feeling of making it be the pull than just what am I trying, like whatever the goal is. I'd rather it be the making of it is the goal. So that brings me with you, Robert.
And that brings me with you, Robert. And that's what is so exciting about today. The movie we're talking about, that's the Good Half, which I mean, the cast is about as stacked up as possible. You got heavy hitters from Nick Jonas to Brittany Snow. I mean, you have Elisabeth Shue. You have David Arquette.
It's insane. I know.
So I read this is a very personal story to you, this idea and this subject.
Yeah, it is. It's personal to me. I've been asked, like, so what was it about the script that made me like want to do it? first of all, Brett Ryland wrote the script. He's the screenwriter. It's a story that he, based sort of on things that he experienced in terms of loss. And his mother passed away at a time in his life when he was kind of like, he'd moved to LA, was going to try to maybe write, or he had like a 9-to-5 job. He was given a promotion. Do I take this road here or go this way? His mom really always, wanted him to kind of pursue his dreams and not hold up his dreams any longer of writing. So he ended up writing a movie, his first feature, The Good Half, covering this subject. And it's funny because, he actually did follow through and rose to the occasion as a writer and wrote a really beautiful script that I think really paid, respect to his mother's life, his life with his mother, but was a very relatable script for those, it doesn't matter about have I lost someone, have I not? That idea doesn't really apply. If you've lost somebody or you've dealt with things similar to the subject matter of the lead character or the family members involved, you'll find yourself maybe feeling a little bit like I remember this, this feeling I had, this feels very close to home for me. If you didn't, it maybe gives you an experience of really, I've heard people say I saw the movie and I called my mom right away and wanted to talk to her, express my love for her. Because she's here, I still have her with me. So I want to make that count. So whatever the feeling is, grief is a universal feeling, like love is universal feeling. But at some point we do experience grief. So if we can create things that make us feel heard or seen, I think that can be really powerful. And I think I've been hearing that's sort of the feeling we're getting on this movie. But, for me, I felt heard and seen when I read the script because it was about, loss of a parent. My father passed away of a similar thing. It was cancer. So it was a similar type of loss. And, it's true, loss, it doesn't leave you. You don't wake up one day going I'm glad I came out the other side. Everything's okay now, It is like a moment by moment kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
And so that's, it's real. And making the movie for me was helpful. Telling a story about loss was more than I had experienced in other movies. And I thought it was had challenges to go there, but I thought it was really important. And then cutting the movie, when you're editing a movie, you're really, really in it. You're you're really wrapped up in these characters, every second, every little thing. It's you're in it. And it hits you on another level in post. For me, that is. But so throughout this process, it's been a real awakening or a light shining on things in my own life. So.
Oh, well, let me tell you what you have the opportunity to see it. You can go to thegoodhalfmovie.com July 23rd and July 25th. There's screenings with exclusive Q&As with the cast. They're on sale now. You can get your tickets and you can see it and then hear a little bit more of the process. So go to thegoodhalfmovie.com. If you're listening to us on the podcast network, the link is right below us where you're listening to us. So you can check it out for those 2 days. When you read the synopsis of this, it sounds is incredibly entertaining, and these characters are very nuanced and funny and specific. There's not many movies where you can say, there's a hoarder priest or or some of the the famous stepfather relationships or the famous sisters or relation or love interests and whatever. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of intermingling between this. What was it like on set to get this cast together, but to be vulnerable? I mean, this is a very vulnerable piece. This is not big action. This is feelings. This is life, humanity.
Yeah, no, it's interesting now because we wrapped the movie February of 2023.
Okay.
That's why Tribeca was so wild because we had to get a cut ready by, we didn't know we were going to get in. We found out in April, but we had to move quickly to kind of get this movie, ready for Tribeca. But so when I kind of look back as I reflect on your question, the cast is really great. Everyone in the movie is awesome in the movie. I think everyone does a great job in the film. We were very lucky to get such like awesome, great people and who have done such great work in other films, like very appreciative of them, like saying yes to this movie. Um, and Yeah, I mean, one of the big things that you have to kind of paint a picture, right? Like when you make an indie, you don't usually have as much time. And then you don't have as sort of many resources. You have to kind of always think a little bit on your toes on like, how am I going to achieve this? But that trickles down to the cast because they don't have as much time to maybe do a scene as they would want to have a little more time for takes. And if someone says I really would love to go again, I'll always be like, let's go, let's do it. But so like everyone's having to sort of like find their way within the puzzle piece of the indie filmmaking world and do the best job creatively they can. It's just a reality. So when they give a great performance and you're strapped for time, that was even more challenging for them. So I'm just shouting out their work was so great. And Nick was there's a lot of dialogue in this scene. It was a heavy page count. They learned, we cut a 9-minute scene into a 3.5-minute scene, but we still shot a 9-minute scene, right? So like, that's a lot of stuff to remember. But it's working with prepared actors that are able to kind of adjust as they go to fit and complement what the scene really calls for. So if you're working on a more emotional scene, recognizing it's a more emotional scene and then understanding how they're going to get there, right? But everyone really knew what we were doing. So I don't think we were ever making choices that seemed like foreign to the movie we were making. Everyone was really right there. Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to like trust because you really do I think, everyone wanted to be on set. Like this cast wanted to be there. And I think that says a lot too, because if you're willing to let your guard down and buy into it and buy into like the things that I'm hoping to achieve creatively as well, yeah, that's the beginning of what the collaboration is, right? It's a willingness to let your guard down and like try things. And I think we were dealt that hand on this movie with this cast, a willingness to like participate and try. The movie's all about, Renn mentions in that scene outside with Zoey outside the karaoke club, like, I'm not participating. Like he's kind of pulling away from this, what he has to do. And yeah, we made a movie I think where everybody was willing to participate, in the story. And I think that was really meaningful to me. And it shows on the screen.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about your leading man of the film, Nick Jonas. I mean, you worked together with him, you wrote music together, toured together, lived in the music world together. So when he's your friend and you think he's right for a piece, do you just text him? Do you like, how does it work? How did you show him the material? Did you find the project? Did he find the project? How did it all come together?
So I fell in love with the script. It's like the end of 2019. It's official. Let's go make it. Very soon, a few months later, no one's leaving their homes and we're doing everything on Zoom. So like, I'm like painting a picture, like when did this movie like start? It was like, that was going on in the background. So I'm meeting actors on Zoom. We have a casting director sharing ideas. There are people I love, wanted to meet with, wanted to at least just share the material with to see if they would like it. So, for me, it's like the fun of it, building a movie really does fall on who you're putting in the film. I mean, the look, the feel of the actors kind of helps define the tone and the style. So that's kind of everything really at the beginning and carries through to the end. But it's like, that's really where we start, is making the right decisions when it comes to like actors. But it's funny, like we had a whole other version of The Good Half that we had cast before we pushed pause for a minute and the movie like stopped. And then it suddenly came back and we had to go back to all the actors, like 6 months, 7 months had passed. And everyone, it's common. You get someone joined a TV show. I booked this movie role. You suddenly just start all over again, really. That's what happened, right? And it's hard to let go of that because you fall in love with one version of the movie in your head and then you have to kind of restart. So that's what happened to us. So Elisabeth Shue was the one of the 6 on the other version that stayed in. she, we went back to her and the timing worked well for her. So we were so lucky to keep her in. But, the idea of Nick came in very suddenly because I had known Nick for a long time. The train was rolling. We were on our way to go make this move. We were set to make this thing, right? We'd already put so much time in. We weren't going to lose this. And Nick's, one of his managers is a good friend of mine, and I've known Nick for a while on a personal level, although we weren't like texting and so hanging out in like a day-to-day kind of way. But there's always like, I think when you meet people when you're young and you all connect, you have this sort of unspoken bond of like, it's there when you want it to be and it's not when it's not. But yeah, I always felt that connection with Nick, and he just has that mystery that I thought would work well for Renn, and sort of wondering what's behind his eyes kind of a thing. And he's a very like dedicated, creative person who's up for a challenge and hadn't really led a movie. So I thought he would be really wanting to step up and show like what he could do as a leading actor. And so yeah, I back channeled with the script, and he read it and loved it and was like, I want to do it. And then, quickly we took a meeting, talked about it, and then we were like, he was in. And also it was like getting other actors to understand, like, what is the movie we're telling? What is the story? How are we going to achieve this story? So, it takes a moment to kind of get everybody to read it, respond, meet with them, discuss the vision. It's just a process, and it's hard. It's not an easy, making a movie is can get crazy. Yeah. But I feel very fortunate. Like we made, I'm proud of the movie we made. It's what I want it to be. And I love the cast, and Nick did a great job.
Well, it is a story, like you said, it's regardless of if you've been through the grief that's in the movie, it's humanity, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's a piece about people and relationships. And if you go to thegoodhalfmovie.com and you can get your tickets and see where it's being screened on July 23rd and 25th with an exclusive Q&A with the cast, you can get and check it out before it's on demand or streaming somewhere else, whatever the next plans are for this. And Robert, we need to stay up with you because
Thanks.
He doesn't only make features. I mean, the Zombies documentary was a huge smash hit at Fascinating Documentaries, and then making features, and then being in Tribeca and more features to come. You just really have taken this genre
Thanks.
of filmmaking and run. So we're ready for what's next.
I really appreciate that. No, it means a lot. I thank you for taking the time to really, I love seeing the graphics on the screen, by the way. Yeah, no, I appreciate you, following the stuff I'm doing. And yeah, I think, The Good Half is in theaters. It's funny, we all, now that we're so used to just like never leaving our house, we just kind of think, it's eventually going to hit my TV screen eventually, so I'll just wait. But if you're watching this, it won't be on Netflix. So I want you to know that. You heard it here. It's not on Netflix, this movie. So if you think you're going to catch it on Netflix and you've outsmarted everybody, it's not the case. It will not be on Netflix. But it will be in theaters July 23rd and 25th. And it's going to be all over the country and Canada. It's going to be in a lot of theaters. We were very lucky to be given so many screens. So if you're watching and there's a little voice in your head that's like, let's go see this movie, you're listening to the voice.
Go see it. I just was saying the other day, we miss going to the movies. It's a perfect date night, Friday night, weekend, whatever, the 23rd and 25th. Get a bucket of popcorn and a large diet soda or whatever your thing is, and go sit down and enjoy a movie without being distracted. I look forward to being there. Robert,
thanks, Robert. Yeah,
we're ready.
Robert. I appreciate it.
We look forward to all the art that's to come, and we thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you for your time. Robert. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. So there you have it, another episode of the Roundtable where artists come talk about art. Sometimes it's the director, sometimes it's the writer, sometimes it's the star, sometimes it's Broadway, sometimes it's TV, sometimes it's film, sometimes it's singers, sometimes it's the gospel, sometimes it's ratchety hip hop, sometimes it's classical. Who knows what's on this show? People ask me, how do you describe your talk show? How do you describe your podcast? Sometimes I'm in front of the brick wall. Sometimes you see my face. Sometimes I'm just on the Broadway Podcast Network. Sometimes we're only on Broadway World. And I don't have a way to explain this show because this show makes no sense. It's just artists talking about art. And art is art. And The Good Half is art. It's coming to theaters on the 23rd and 25th of July. So mark that down, especially if you're a Nick Jonas, Kevin Jonas, all the Jonas and the bonus Jonas I did SNL with the Jonas Brothers. They're very nice. They're such nice people. And Nick is very talented singer, actor, Broadway baby, playing guitars, writing pop songs. So check out the movie. He's really good in it. I got a chance to see it. If you want more information about our show, you can follow me at Robert M. Bannon on Instagram, or you can always go to robertbannon.com where all of our episodes of our show are, or on the Broadway Podcast Network, or exclusively on Broadway World on Fridays. We're a little bit of everywhere. Like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube so we can keep getting the views up and get good guests, and join us every single day right here on the Roundtable. The best is yet to come. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with more episodes of the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Bye, everybody.